Hello, hello, hello. My name is Amista, and we're just going to do a little live stream today, see what's going on out in the world. We're going to start by doing 5 minutes of Reiki. After that, we're going to do some tarot reading. We'll look at our best manifestation advice, and then we'll read for some people in the room. So, the Reiki is going to be applicable for anybody and everybody who is watching now or who comes across this video later, because Spirit is not dependent on time or on space to send its energy and do its work. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. We'll finish it up at 31 after the hour. Let's get that Reiki rolling. All right, so 5 minutes of Reiki incoming. And we've got 4 more minutes. Daviani, hello, hello. We're just doing Reiki until 31 after the hour. So we've got about 3 more minutes of Reiki. What are you going to focus your Reiki on today? Peacefulness and calmness. That's a fantastic intention for your Reiki. I've had lots of experiences where Reiki has really helped people to be more calm and more peaceful about particular situations and also just in general. One more minute on the Reiki. All right, let's wrap up the Reiki. How are you feeling now, Javiani? Did you notice any difference? I'm going to clear some tarot cards and then we will look at our manifestation advice for the day, and then we'll do some more personal stuff for people in the room. Okay, let's clear our clarifiers. After these are cleared, we're going to move on to manifestation advice. I used to have 2 cameras set up for these videos, but whenever I moved, I haven't got anything set up to mount the second camera on yet, so we're just going to go with 1 camera, which is what I used to do all the time anyway. Going back to old school. Going back to old school. All right, so let's look at our manifestation advice for today. Let's see what shows up. And this is going to be for everybody who's here right now and for everybody who ends up coming in here, wandering in here a little bit later. Manifestation advice. What do we have? Okay. Our first card that shows up here is the 9 of Arrows. And in this deck, the 9 of Arrows talks about dedication. So being dedicated to something, being committed to something. And with that 9 of Arrows, you can kind of see in the card, there's a lot of arrows that are flying past her. She's actually picked up one and she's making music with it. So this is basically talking about being dedicated towards moving forward with something in spite of whatever obstacles may be thrown our way. In fact, find ways to use those obstacles to our benefit, even if it might not look like they could be at first. So our manifestation advice today is pretty simple, although not necessarily easy. Just take whatever comes against us and start turning that around. Look at, okay, well, what's the silver lining here? And take advantage of that silver lining. Move forward with the silver lining instead of being thrown off by those obstacles that are coming at us. So, Jenny, hello, hello, welcome. Glad you're here. We're just doing manifestation advice right now. Second card that we have coming up is the King of Bows in reverse. This basically says that, as we're dealing with these obstacles or these distractions, there is somebody coming in that's going to want to tell us, well, you should be doing this, or you could be doing that, or why don't you do this, or I think you should be doing this. I'm just going to go ahead and make this phone call for you, or I'm just going to do this or that for you because this is the direction you should be going. We love those people. They have good intentions. At the same time, this card says that we have to stand up to that person and we have to tell them that we have to be the ones that make our decisions. They can't always make our decisions for us. We have to be that person that does that. And then our third card that comes up is the Ace of Arrows. Well, the Ace of Arrows talks about a new epiphany of an idea. So what this really implies for our manifestation is that, yeah, things are a little bit difficult right now, but we have to be dedicated. We have to stay focused on our goal. And when somebody else comes along and tries to make decisions for us, we have to cut them out of that because that's not their place. Our place. It's our responsibility to make our decisions. And we won't ever be able to say that we did what we were supposed to with our lives if we let other people make decisions for us. And so with the Ace of Arrows talks about once we get that other person to back off and stop making decisions for us, that actually allows us room to be able to think about how we want things to go or what we want to do to be able to move forward towards our goal. And then we get a good new idea that we wouldn't have been able to have if we would have let this person keep dictating how we should run our lives. Okay? So we would just want to stay dedicated to that goal, stay dedicated to that target, and keep moving forward towards it. That's the bottom line right there. Nobody else gets to make our decisions for us because then we don't have room to think for ourselves, and we need room to think for ourselves. So that's our manifestation advice. Anybody in the room want me to do a message from Spirit for you, or if you have a question for me, put the question in chat. Either one. I'm going to start making my little list of peoples. My list of peoples. I do too. I think it's fantastic. There's a lot of sunlight from that window, and that helps. And then I've got the easiest lighting ever in this place because the walls are not so dark. But also, I've got a floor lamp off to this side of me, that side. And then right over here, there's a little kitchen light that comes through the cut in the wall into the living room. And so I've got light coming in from both sides without me having to do a bunch of extra ring lights or gyrations or anything like that. I don't think I could have got more lucky on lighting in this place. So Jen would like to have a message. And Jen, are you the person I'm thinking of that just is recovering from a surgery? I think you are. I'm just wanting to double check. Deviani, you have a weird question, huh? I've seen some pretty weird questions. I don't know if you can throw me at this point, honey. Let's see. I might have to go back to my home country due to current unemployment situation. Need a reading around that. Okay, well, we're going to do a question. So why don't we just cut straight to the bottom line with this one? Why don't we ask if it's a good idea for you to go back to... I wish you could get a reading with me because I would want to ask a few questions. I would want to ask, is it a good idea for you to leave the country you're in currently? Is it a good idea for you to go? If that's a yes, then is it a good idea for you to go back to your home country? Or is there another country? I would want to pick this thing apart. So with one question, right? Are you in the US right now? I'm thinking that you told me before you are. But I could be wrong. Okay. I'm debating if I want to ask if you should go back to your home country, if it's a good idea for you to go back to your home country, or if it's a good idea for you to leave the US. Not sure which one of these is going to be really better for you to know. We're going to ask if it's a good idea for you to leave the U.S. Oh, look. I must have been thinking that right while you were typing that. Okay. All right. And Jen wants a message. Jen actually put message in the chat box first, so we're going to start with hers. And then after that, we're going to move into yours, Devyani. And I guess we'll see if anybody else comes in the room and wants a question answered or whatever. Or a message from Spirit. Excuse me. Oh, thank you on that. Yes, Jen. La da da da, la da da da, la da 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 da, for Jen. And you guys, I am back to doing private readings full swing. So if y'all need one, just reach out. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So Jen, your what Spirit wants to talk about has to do with the Queen of Vessels in reverse. And the Queen of Vessels in reverse is somebody finding her backbone. In this card, she's somebody finding her backbone. She's somebody who like gives and gives and gives and gives and gives until it hurts her. And then this card, when it comes up in reverse, says, now we're finding our backbone. We're being assertive enough to set some boundaries and stand up for ourselves. And the covering card is the Ten of Stones, or the Home. And by the way, this is my Wildwood Tarot. And so this talks about the idea that you're finding your backbone around protecting your family or your home. And it could also even say you're having to find your background in dealing with somebody from your family or your home. This could be protecting your family and your home and finding your background to stand up to somebody in your family and your home, all mashed together. Doesn't have to be both, definitely either or. Either you're standing up to somebody in the family or the home, or you're defending somebody from the family or the home, or both. That's what I'm going to say about that. Very likely both, because I can't decide. When I have a tie, it's usually both. All right, let's look at your best advice or heads up. You finding your backbone causes a shake-up. This is the blasted oak in this deck. And this would be very much like the tower in another deck. You can see somebody is like coming out of that safe tree and their bondage. They have bondage around their ankles and their hand service. That's coming. That's like all on fire as they get knocked out of the safe place. So the bondage is breaking free and being burnt up as you're basically knocking yourself out of this safe place by rocking the boat, by finding that spine. Okay? So it does cause a tower. It causes a shakeup. I think you're the one causing the shakeup here with finding your spine. That's how I would read that normally, and that's what it's coming across to me as this time. Now, the tower is not exactly ideal for bringing that safety and security to the family unit, for sure, with that World card in reverse. It's pretty close, though. No cigar, but pretty close. And so the next card just tells me with my balance card coming up after that, this just says that after the shakeup, you're going to have to find your balance again. And this is going to be a new kind of balance, because after this shakeup, your new balance is not going to be getting back into the same old routine of power that has been going on, that old power dynamic. This is a new power dynamic that is happening, and it's going to be important for you to go from not exactly ideal to ideal by bringing balance into that power dynamic. I almost said again. I don't know if this is an again thing. This may not be. but definitely bringing some balance into that power dynamic after you shake it up. Because when you shake it up, what did you create? You created this confusion and this chaos. Nobody knows who's in charge of what now. That's not ideal. So you're bringing balance into the situation. Look, this is what I'm in charge of. This is what you're in charge of. Let's color in the lines here. That's basically what I'm seeing. Hope that makes sense for you. La da 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 da. I can imagine what direction that would be going in your family. But it's been a long time since we talked. I don't want to just be filling in blanks just because I think I can. All right, Devyani. Is it a good idea for Devyani to leave the U.S.? Is it a good idea for Devyani to leave the U.S. because of her? No, we're not going to ask that. Is it a good idea for Devyani to leave the U.S. now within the foreseeable future? Ooh, lots of energy around this question. I just had a bunch fall. Too many, though. We can't use those when it's too many. You're welcome. Does it make sense to you? Ba ba da ba 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 da da da. Past, present, or future. Let's see. Good idea for Devyani to leave the U.S. within the foreseeable future. I would definitely leave the U.S. looking at this. And I don't know, Devyani, like I'm just thinking about your situation. And with all the craziness that's happening in the U.S., maybe Spirit's lining this up so that you will actually leave the U.S. before stuff gets even worse. As far as the whole immigration situation lately. Let's look at this. Ten of Bows in reverse. It's really hitting me different this time. Excuse me. When I have this card right side up, this guy's carrying up sticks that would make perfect support sticks for wigwams or teepees. And you can see at the top of this mountain, if I get this closer to the camera maybe, you can see that there's a whole community up there. And he's just bringing up basically building supplies because he wants to be a part of that community. He wants to build his own house up there. But we didn't get it right set up. We got it in reverse. So in reverse basically says, basically, if I would get this card by itself, I could have said, yeah, it's a good time to leave. Take your building supplies and go somewhere else. Now, Two of Stones tells me that this is a challenge. I think that you do have some people here that you have your own network here of people that you've met and become friends with that I think it's a challenge for you to think about leaving this environment and this culture, the way people are here as opposed to how they are, where you come from. I think that's a little bit of a challenging thing for you. Next, we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. This talks about shelter. And it talks about being vulnerable when it comes up in reverse. Not being sheltered when it comes up in reverse. It's interesting because it's not a Four of Wands, which talks about home and coming back into the nest. I think what I'm feeling is like, you may not feel like you actually have, like if you leave here, you may not feel like you actually have a home really anywhere in the world, even back in your home country, may not really feel like it's a home to you the way I'm picking this up. And so leaving here because of that challenge, because of the people you've met, it makes you feel like vulnerable, like someone like an orphan or something, somebody without a home. Okay? My next card, well, no, I want to back up because the other thing that I was feeling with this card is I want to put it in the correct words. What ties do you have to your old home that would make you go back to where your home used to be? What if even that makes you feel vulnerable? Then is it a better idea to go somewhere else that, I mean, if you don't have a place that feels like home anywhere, is it necessarily a good idea to go back to this place that you used to call home? Is that even a good idea? That's kind of how I'm coming up with that. Hello there, Joan. Welcome, welcome. Now, Five of Stones, endurance, in reverse, talks about not waiting. Like you've been kind of procrastinating and putting off moving away from the United States. This says the time for procrastination is over. Wherever you're going to go, you need to do it soon. And the shaman is your last card. And the shaman is a very successful card. Talks about that you can make this move happen, number one. But also, I think it talks about that you'll be very successful in wherever you end up moving to. I don't think you'll have this protracted long wait for a job wherever you're moving to. And the shaman talks about actually creating the things that he wants to create. Excuse me about my shoe. I was playing with it and it fell half off, so I have to fix that. Anyway, I think that whenever you get moved and you land, I see you as being very successful. I don't see this long protracted job wait being an issue. I see you being able to create exactly what you want within a couple of weeks of actually getting there and finding a place. I would much rather do more of a reading for you and figure out like where is there. Because I feel like there's just so much more to look at here. But I also know that when you're out of a job for a long time, you really can't afford a reading like that. Maybe next time you see me, if I'm on here anytime soon, which I don't know. Because all my days are like, if I'm doing private readings, then I'm not here. Or if I'm doing other stuff like finishing up my move, I'm not here. But maybe next time you see me, maybe we could ask, is going home the right thing? Because I think that's very much up for grabs after that spread we just saw. I would not say that going home is the automatic right answer or to your old home. All right. So we did Jens, we did Daviani. Tay Joan, I don't know how you say that. Right? In the meanwhile, be thinking about what are other options for you. Whatever you should do it pretty quick. Shouldn't stay here much longer. So, Joan, if you're still in here, would you like me to answer a question for you or would you like a message from Spirit? Anybody else in the room, if you want a question answered, throw it up in the chat. If you want a message from Sacred Spirit, just put Spirit or message in the chat. I'll know what you mean. And we'll go from there. I always forget about this delay until I'm waiting for somebody to answer me. La da da da. How's everybody's afternoon going? Jen, are you still recovering well? Well. And those of you who have not signed up for my newsletter, you can go to my website listed right there and sign up for my newsletter. It's right above my head. I do predictions for every single sign, every single week. Very rare that I miss a week. I think I might have missed predictions 1 week, maybe, out of about 3.5 years, something like that. So if you would like to have predictions for your sign every week, feel free to sign up for my newsletter. Once you're on my website, you'll see a tab there that'll let you do that. All right, well, I got nobody saying nothing to me, so now I'm feeling very lonely, which means that it's time for me to end this stream and see where else I can go stir up some stuff. Everybody have a great day. Thank you for joining me for as long as you did, and I'll see you guys back on the next one. Peace out. Where's my cursor? Now out.